the power of it is that it's just one statement that literally clears away all energetic blockages from within and frees up energy to attract your dream life, your dream abundance, your dream relationships. And so, Gary, what is that one question, that one statement that everyone's waiting for?
Well, it's like, I can't off the top of my head remember it right now. So what's right, good, perfect, and correct now? You start with a question. What's right about this? I'm not getting. What would I like to change here? Right and wrong. So you're taking the right and the wrong side. You're looking, because every time you make yourself right about something, you also have to make yourself wrong about something, because you have to do judgment. So right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock. That's the point of creation and the point of destruction. All 9, it's like 9 different things that it covers. And it's like, even if you don't know what those 9 different things are, your being does, which is weird. All 9. Shorts is the shortcut of, what's good about this, bad about this, etc. Shorts, boys, it's the people in the neighborhood that you have connected to. Beyonds, which are the things that are beyond our scope of reality right now. And Povads, which is the points of, oh God, I can't even remember. The points of view you have that lead you to stuck points of view. The basis of, it's like, what have you made the basis of this? Because like, you live in Lebanon. Now, I'm sure there's no basis of being a Lebanese, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, there is. There's always a basis for you to be Lebanese. You have to have certain things that qualifies you as Lebanese. These are the basis off of which we create a whole lot. The basis and the beyonds. The beyonds are the things that are beyond the scope of this reality. So it's like, it covers all those things, and it's like, and then you get free of them. And it's like, how the hell did that happen? I mean, we've been doing the basis is a brand new part of the process that we just added. And I've been doing the basis of everything that creates the pain in my body, because I've been suffering from a case of shingles that started 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. And I've been in pain for years, and it's not fun. I don't like pain. Pain is not one of my favorite things. In fact, it's one of my least favorite things. So but at any rate, I did this, and I started doing this about the pain, and somebody walked in the other day and they said, "Have you tried DMSO?" I went, "What?" I went, "Oh my God, no." So I got some. I put it on yesterday twice, and today I'm 30% less pained. And I went, wow. But I've been looking for something for 5 years, and it's like this person walks in and says DMSO after I took all the basis of my pain away. It's like, now I don't have a reason and justification for it, so now I have to choose, and I get to choose. And so it looks like I'm on my way to getting out of pain, which would be so nice. I haven't been out of pain in 5 years, and it's not fun. It's it's just not fun.
That's amazing. I wish you a healthy recovery and a speedy one. And I want to break down the full clearing statement. So you first start with right or wrong, good or bad, right? And you're such a proponent of non-judgment.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, why does judgment create so much clutter in our energetic life?
Well, first of all, you got to realize it's like, in order to judge anything, you have to have been there and done it. I mean, if you see a white flower or a red flower, do you judge them? Or do you a white flower, red flower? And it's like, we should just be able to identify things, not come to conclusion about them, not judge them. So it's like, a white flower isn't better than a red flower, it's just different. And most things are not right or wrong, they're just different. And what is it you could have that would be a different point of view if you didn't have a judgment? And getting rid of judgments is like huge, huge, huge. And it's like, and we also discovered that basically every time you make a judgment, you create a prison for yourself, because you are imprisoned by your right or wrong point of view.
The beauty of it is that it doesn't just cover the bad judgments, it's also the good ones that keep you in the prison, right?
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like, you think it's a good judgment if you decide that you hate Trump or you hate Harris. Okay, this is the good judgment. Well, still a judgment. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. It's like, they're two different people. They're not, one's not right and the other one's not wrong. They're both equally bad, equally good. You know, what if you just looked at them for who they were and had no point of view?
I think there's so much beauty in this, the awareness kind of, with no attachment to a certain particular point of view. What helped you cultivate that state of non-judgment? Because it's so easy to say, yet it's so hard to put into action. So
It was when I was little. I was, 6 years old. People used to say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I went, happy. And they go, no, son, what do you want to be when you grow up? Happy. No, do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an Indian chief? Yeah, as long as I'm happy. And it's like what I saw around me was all the people who were unhappy. And I'd go to church on Sunday, and all these people would be glad handing each other, saying, so nice to see you, love you, you're wonderful. And then on Monday, they screw each other. And I go, where's the happiness in this? Where's the joy? Where's the possibility in this? And I always looked from the point of view of, where's the happy? And for me, that's what I would like to see in the world, people being happy. I mean, it's like if you have a war going on and you're sending in drones to kill people, how is that going to make somebody happy? And how is that going to get you to a sense of peace? It's not. So it's like, for me, it's like, let's make this a place where we start to look at what is possible. And I look at animals, it's like horses, wake up in the morning and they go, okay, what can I eat? Not, what's wrong with me? Well, I am having a terrible day. I feel like shit today. It's like they don't whine. They never whine. They just get up and go. And birds wake up and they sing, and it's like they don't look at it and go, oh, this is an ugly day, I'm not going to sing today. They sing no matter what it's like. It's like, why aren't we like more like the animals? Why are we more interested in what do I eat, where do I go, what do I see? How does my life work? And can I create a greater life with this? Not, can I get a worse life?
that's beautiful. Recently I've been learning much more about myself in nature than in books.
Yeah.
And I realized the power that it shows us how our natural state is, right?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Well, it's like I lived in California for a lot of years, and I went to the redwoods. And I don't know whether you've ever been to the redwoods in California, but they're these old, thousands of year old trees. And you go in the deep forest there, and it's like, wow. It just is a sense of peace and calm and quiet and gratitude that you don't get in cities. And why can't you have that in cities? Well, you can't have that in cities because you judge that concrete doesn't have any peace in it. Concrete has definite peace in it. It's not moving. It's not going anywhere unless you explode it. So it's like different realities are available for different people. And we have to have that place where we're willing to see what's different. And I say there's 4 questions you should use all the time. What is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? Because, it's like if you looked at everything from that point of view, you wouldn't think anything was wrong. You'd think, what do I do? And I think if we live from what do I do with this, rather than what's wrong with this, you got this place where you're not doing judgment, where you're doing a question that allows the universe to show you different possibilities. And when you're out in nature, you see different possibilities all the time. I went hiking with my young son, who was 5, and I saw bear poop on the trail. I went, ooh, bear, not good. So I told my son, okay, so I want you to know that if we see a bear, I'm going to throw you up in a tree. And I want you to stay up there until you hear no noises or till you hear somebody talking and then scream for help. And stay there. Don't come down. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the bear to follow me and leave you alone. And he goes, why, Dad? I said, because that way you'll survive. And he goes, oh, you're silly, Dad. Bears won't come after us. I said, okay. But at least I had him prepared. And it's like, to me, it was like, okay, you look at what is and you see what you can do about it. What can I change about this? I can throw this guy up in a tree and then keep on moving and attract the bear to me, which I would do. I would do that to save my child. Today, I wouldn't do that. But that's a different story.
That's beautiful. I love those 4 questions. The second part is, so the first part is right or wrong, good or bad, POC and
Yeah,
blood.
point of creation or point of destruction, because it's like we have a point at which we create something. We also have a point at which we destroy things. If you look back at your life to where things didn't work out the way you wanted to with them, you'll find that there was a point at which you destroyed something that made it not work. And it's like, and if you begin to realize, oh, I'm responsible for everything I create and everything I destroy. I bought a house next door to me, and we're refurbishing it. And I planted rose bushes, and I told them to be careful and not step on my rose bushes, and they did. And I'm pissed at the contractors now. It's like, why did you not take care of the plants? Well, you shouldn't have plants there. You should fucking learn to watch where you're going, you fucking asshole. Just, I'm a little adamant about plants. I don't like plants destroyed. Yeah, it's a bad attitude on my part. But I'm looking at things from a different point of view.
I'm still trying to grasp kind of the POC and POD.
Well,
Um,
when were you created?
on the 12th of April 2000.
No, that's when you came out. That wasn't when you were created.
On 9 months before
Yes.
that thing.
Or approximately 9 months when but the point of creation was where the egg and the sperm got together. Okay?
Yeah.
So that was the point of creation. What is the point of destruction? When you came out. Then you began to look at how things worked around you and what did or did not work. So it's like, it's the point of destruction is a recognition. It's like, if you look at I look at things, the point of destruction is where you go unconscious a lot. You ever had a car accident?
I haven't had a car accident, but I can remember a few times where I was unconscious. Yeah, I think once when I had a ski accident.
Yeah. See, but you were not totally present, and so you were unconscious, and in that moment, that was the point of destruction. So the point of destruction is where you're momentarily unconscious just enough to create a problem, a difficulty, a disaster, a accident. Those are the things that we have to look at, where point of creation is where you're totally present. Because I can guarantee you that you chose the egg and the sperm to go together to create you. Otherwise, you'd be a girl. Yeah.
I understood the point of creation, the point of destruction. For the example of me being born, why is that the point of destruction, though? The point where I got out because I was
Because you destroyed your parents' life at that moment.
you mean you mean it in that I was a big troublemaker, so
That's what I'm talking about.
I was trying to think, for anyone that's trying to understand this concept, how would that apply in a simplified example?
Well, that's the reason I was trying to take the idea of an accident. See, it's like, but you mentioned it with a skiing accident. You were unconscious for a moment, and when you were unconscious, that was the point at which you destroyed something and it hurt your body, right? So it's like, when we're not conscious of what we're doing, that's when we do things that are destructive. And like with the guys next door, they stepped on my rose bushes and squashed them, and they thought that was fine. Plants should not be under my feet. No, you should be aware of everything around you, and you should take care of everything, not just do what you think is right. So it's like, if you're trying to be right, most people would rather be right than be free, by the way. If you do, I'm right, then you have to not see where you're doing something that's wrong.
Okay, I got you. So being aware of the cause and effect?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Okay. So to then build on that, so the first thing, right or wrong, good or bad. Then the second thing, POC and POD. Then the third one is actually all 9.
Yes.
And this was one that I was confused about because
Well, you have to read the 9 things that are created with that, and you have to read them, and you read them once, and your mind knows. Yeah, it's like you know a lot more than you think you know, and it's like even if you don't have the definition of all 9, you will somehow know that what you're asking is these 9 things. And because you ask for them, that shows up. Because it's like we're all interconnected in reality, okay? You ever notice you ever meet somebody that you just knew them? You had no idea how you knew them, but you knew that you knew them. And they just were like an old friend, and instantaneously. Those kinds of things are part of it, all 9. It's all that places where we've been connected in one lifetime or another. And we have that. It's like, do you believe in past lives?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Do you believe in past lives? You know what the 9 is. Because you also have future lives that we're aware of, that we're not aware of, that we're aware of. So it's like we have so much going on in our world in so many different ways that we don't acknowledge that. So all of the 9 are designed to acknowledge all the things we're aware of that we don't have, quote-unquote, cognitive capacity for.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool.
All right. So we were talking about all nights.
Yeah. So all 9s are these 9 different things that we're covering with that. And even if you don't know what it is, it still works. So even if you don't cognitively know what it is, it still works. Boys in the Hood, it's all the different things that we're doing so that we get away from other people's points of view. And OVADs, which is the points of view you're avoiding and defending. And because we avoid and defend a whole lot. It's like if you have to say, I'm Lebanese, as though that means something, you're defending something. It's like, I'm not American, I'm an infinite fucking being.
There's the one that says beyond.
Yes.
Could you explain a bit what it means? Because I remember seeing the video, yet I didn't fully grasp it.
Well, it's about everything that's beyond this reality. Because it's like this reality is kind of limited. I don't know whether you've noticed or not. And it's like, and people have very fixed points of view. And it's like our fixed points of view are what keep us from being able to change on a dime and go in a different direction and make everything change. Be nice if we could just change everything on a dime. I mean, we could stop wars in a heartbeat if we would willingly do this, if we could do this. And it's like, one thing I do is whenever somebody asks me about they're in a war-torn area, I go, okay, so everything you did in any lifetime that allows this war to exist, well, you destroy and uncreate all that. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povids, beasties, and beyond. And it's like, and then they go, that's weird. And it's like, I was in Israel and they were being bombed. And it's like, and I did that with a bunch of people, and I did, had them connect to all kinds of people in the process. And literally, the bombing stopped. And they didn't have, that section of the war closed down temporarily.
That's beautiful. I remember the old version was right or wrong, good or bad, POC and pod, all 9s, shorts, boys, OVADs, and beyond. Now there's a new word that's basis. What does that mean?
Well, it's like, are you a man?
Yes.
Does that create a basis of what you must create your life?
To some extent, yes.
Yes, to some extent. To whatever extent you have that as a basis of how you function, you have to function with that as though it's true. Does that make it true, or is that a choice? It should be a choice.
It's a choice.
It should be not something you have to do, but something you have a choice with. And most people don't do that. They go, I'm a man, I'm a woman. Yeah, okay, good, you're a woman. You know, do you realize as a woman, God gave you two gifts no man can resist?
Gary, till now, this has been one of the most enjoyable conversations. I don't know if this is judgment, but this is how I feel.
That's the way life should be. That's the way life should be. Everything should be about the enjoyment of it. And it's like, if you had the joy of living, you know, it's like our mantra of Access is all of life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, come to me with ease, joy, and glory. And glory means exuberant expression and abundance. And the thing is, when you laugh, that's the most exuberant expression and abundance you can have. You know, and it's great. And it should be the way we live. And I see people are, I'm so sad, my life sucks. My life doesn't suck. My life is amazing. I love it. I'm 82. I still work, you know, anywhere from 2 to 10 hours a day. I still ride horses. I still do things. I travel. You know, it's like we have a castle in Italy. So I went to the castle and I sat down in this chair, and it had these little tiny round things in the back of it that was supposed to hold it up. Well, those only work if you're on a hard surface. I was in soft ground, so I leaned back, and as I leaned back, the thing flipped me over and knocked me into a brick wall. I couldn't even get out of it, so I had Dane come over and pull me up and get me out, and he got me out of this chair, and I went, okay, oh, that hurts, and I was sore. So I said, I'm going to go lie down. So I, you know, hobbled upstairs, got to my bed, 4 flights of stairs, mind you. And I got to my bed and I laid down, and I was there for 2 or 3 days. And then after that, I started to feel better. So I started using my cane to get around, and I was hobbling around. And I talked to this guy, and he says, you do realize that most people your age go to the hospital when they fall over like that? And I went, what? Why would you go to the hospital? All I did was hurt my back. They go, because you hurt your back. But I don't want to go to a hospital. Why would I go to a hospital? It's not, you know, life destroying. It's not, I'm not going to die. And they go, that's a different point of view, Gary. That's not normal. And I went, oh, now I get it. Different point of view, different reality. So I could make my body well in 3 days, walking up and down stairs, 4 flights every day, twice a day. Had to go upstairs, had to go downstairs to eat, had to go upstairs to get to bed. But I would do that. And other people would go, oh, you're in trouble, go to the hospital. I'm not going to go to a hospital. Have you ever been to a hospital? I was at a hospital a couple of times in my life, and I don't like them. I never want to go to one.
I think it's beautiful, and it brought to mind they did this experiment where they took older people in the range of 80 plus. And now I know you don't consider yourself old because that's not your point of view. But I'm just saying the example. And what they did is basically they gave them an environment where there was only things that they knew about when they were 20 years old. So the same movies, the same posters, the same activities that they used to do when they were 20. And they were in that environment for a week. And what they realized after that experiment is that the people's biological age actually dropped significantly.
Yeah.
So they felt younger, more excited, more alive, more aware. So the point of view changed everything.
Yes, your point of view creates your reality. I mean, the thing is, how old are you?
Take a guess.
35?
23.
23. See, I was trying to, it's like, unfortunately, I can't see that well anymore. And on these screens, you definitely disappear. So, it's like, I don't know what age anybody is. I don't care. But you're handsome, you're good looking, and it's like, think back to when you were 13. Do you feel any older than you did then?
Within, no.
No. Within? No. It's like, I'm 82. I still don't feel any older than I did when I was 18. You get to a certain age, and that's when you just sort of stop. You know, it's like my body doesn't react as quickly as I would like, but it does react, and I can make it do things, and I accomplish things. I mean, it's like I got to a point where I was so stiff, I was having a hard time getting on a horse. So I learned how to fall on the horse such that I could get on and be okay. And now I get on the horse and I'm starting to get on better. But I still can fall on the horse. So I fall on his neck and my leg goes over and goes to the stirrup and I'm set and I'm ready to go. And I can ride a horse, I look great riding the horse. But then I go to get off and it's like, and I have to have somebody catch me. Ain't fun. But I'm still going to get on a horse, and if I have my say, it's like I will be doing fine in a couple of months.
That's beautiful. I love your positivity. I think that's what's really interesting. Also, you talk about the 10 keys to complete freedom, right? So there's 10 points, and one of them is, would an infinite being really choose this?
Are you an infinite being, or are you a finite pile of shit? And most people else is a finite pile of shit. And it's like, that's not really a good thing to create yourself as.
That's the thing. It's really beautiful. I have a podcast tomorrow with Gary Zukov. And in his book, The Seed of the Soul, he talks about the little you, the personality, and the soul, the big you. And so the big you is an infinite fucking being, right? It's not a fucking small, finite thing.
It's not this ant.
Yeah, and I think it's our judgment that keeps us stuck, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's our judgment that keeps us stuck in the little you.
Yes, in the little you, exactly. Which is why I have so many of the things that are about getting you out of your judgments, your decisions, and your conclusions.
And one of the second the second keys that you talk about is everything is just an interesting point of view.
Yeah. See, but that's the way the animals function. They look at something and they go, what's that? And they might put their mouth around it, or they'll sniff it and go, nah, I don't think so. Where we go, oh, it's edible. According to whom? It's like, it looks edible. Does that make it edible? Not really. There was a movie that came out a few years ago about this guy that went to Alaska and he ate these berries that he thought were edible. And he died. And it's like, and the people wondered where he was, and he was out in the middle of the tundra. And it's like he was all by himself. And it's like, you really ought to have a little book that tells you what's poisonous and what's not.
Everything is just an interesting point of view. Brings to mind a podcast I did with Derek Sivers, where he says, everything that you think about, it might be wrong. And so,
well, that's the reason it should be an interesting point of view. See, one of the things that happened for me is I was doing a class online and I saw this older gentleman who was a Sikh who was wearing a turban.
Okay.
And in my head came up, I hate turbans. And I went, where did that come from? And they're going, okay, so whose point of view is that? Mine or somebody else's? Oh, it's somebody else's. Whose point of view is it? And I realized it was my mother's point of view that I bought when I was 10. My mother, it's like didn't believe that women should go out of their houses with a turban around their head to cover their curlers. And that was the thing you did in the 50s, is you would cover your head with a turban sort of looking thing to not show off that you were wearing curlers. I went, oh, I don't hate turbans. What the hell? But then I went to India and I was doing a class in India and we had to ride on an elephant. So I got the appropriate outfit and I had a turban and they put it on and I went, oh God, I hate these things. They're so tight. They hurt.
An interesting point. Everything is just an interesting point of view. Yeah. Is basically not taking at face value everything that you think.
Well, it's not judging anything you think. You look at it and go, judge, what's this? What's the purpose of this? It's like,
with curiosity.
Yeah. Where's the curiosity? And it's like, do you automatically hate people that are purple? Why do you hate people that are purple?
Okay, I get where you're going.
Interesting point of view. It's like, they're purple, so what? It's like, I have people who go, I hate the color lime green. I go, okay, what's wrong with lime green? Hey, I grew up in the 50s and the 60s when lime green and turquoise were considered the two most beautiful colors in the world. And today I would think they were disgusting. But
It's all just a point of view.
yeah, it's just a point of view. And it's like if it's an interesting point of view, instead of the right or wrong point of view, you have a different place from living. And it's like, and if you have the point of view that my point of view is right, then you have the freedom to change your point of view instantaneously.
I love that. The third key to complete freedom that you talk about is live in 10-second
Yeah.
increments.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting, and it makes me curious as to what it is.
Well, it's like if you live in 10-second increments, then you cannot come to a conclusion. You cannot come to a conclusion. You have to go, okay, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? And what I did is I literally got to the point where I realized I could sit and watch television all day long as I kept clicking the channel. I went, this is not living. This is fucking watching TV. Okay. So, it's like, and of course, in the United States, we have 2,500 channels, which is insane. And so I would watch TV, but I would just have to change the channel because I couldn't stand to watch the same thing through the whole show, hardly. And so I started looking, okay, so if I was going to live my life in 10-second increments, what would that look like? Okay, I got 10 seconds to live the rest of my life. The world is full of lions, tigers, bears, and poisonous snakes. You're going to get eaten, you're going to get killed, you got 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. If you live in 10-second increments, are you more present in your life? Yes. And that's the idea, to live totally present in your life and not do checkout. And people like to do checkout a lot. It's like I noticed there was a time when I used to drive and I would not remember driving places.
Autopilot.
I was on autopilot all the time, just fine, thinking in my head, driving. And I realized I could drive on autopilot, but I didn't remember getting there. I didn't see things. And then after having one accident, I went, okay, I need to be more present in my life, 10-second increments. And that's when I got to the point where, okay, I'll be more present in my life so I don't create this kind of thing again. So I see when people are doing things ahead of time.
That's beautiful. I remember reading a book on presence called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
And that gave me such a different point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
But such a liberating one, because I was so stuck in the point of view. I'll be fully honest, I'll just walk naked here and just share it with you. I used to have this very negative belief about myself because I got bullied, that I was really ugly, right? And so that brought me from the point of view that everyone around me is just judging me all the time, and I should put on a bitch face, right? So no one approaches me. And so when I read The Power of Now, I had a different point of view, and I just let go. It was a moment of non-judgment.
Yeah.
Of pure non-judgment. And there was so much peace attached to that moment.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we don't have peace in our life because of judgment. We judge, which takes away peace. It's like, why wouldn't you want to be peaceful and happy and joyful at all times? It's a whole lot more fun. Wouldn't that be the way you'd like to live your life? Not from the judgment? Yeah.
Of course. I think kids, if I look at my little cousins, I can see a lot of joy, a lot of peace, a lot of excitement.
Yes.
And I can see a lot of non-judgment.
Yeah. Well, they don't know how to judge. They have to learn how to judge. There was a musical called South Pacific. And there was a song in there about learning to judge and learning to have prejudice. And it's like, we have to be carefully taught to judge and to have judgment of people and to think people are bad. Because nobody's bad, nobody's good, everybody is just who they are. And if you see them for who they are instead of good or bad, it's like it takes away all kinds of crazy shit. It's like...
Yeah, it does.
I have 2 ex-wives who are very judgmental. And they judge everybody, and everybody's bad, and everybody's not right, and they are. Okay, fine. But they are the loneliest people in the world. They don't have any friends anymore because they've judged their friend crosses a line and then they judge them and they will not talk to them anymore. But I have people that do strange things and I don't judge them for it. I go, okay, interesting choice, point of view, interesting choice, interesting point of view. It's just their point of view. It's just their choice. What choice are they making? And I learned long ago, I had friends who would always tell me, you got to tell me when I've chosen the wrong person. And so I had one friend who always chose bad guys. She was always choosing the worst guys. And so she got together with this guy, and I said, I don't think this guy is as good as you think he is. How can you say that? I'll never talk to you again. You're so judgmental. Well, it turned out he was beating her and beating his child. But he was a Christian. And he went to church. So therefore he was good. What? I don't have that point of view. It's like Muslims are bad because they don't believe in Jesus. Muslims, it's like, what do you believe in? It's your choice. It's your life. Believe in whatever you want to believe in. Enjoy whatever you can, and have a life that is filled with ease, joy, and glory. Don't do this pain, suffering, and gory shit. It's not fun.
The fourth key to complete freedom is live as the question, not the answer.
Yeah. See, it's like if you're in question, then the universe can give you different answers. If you're in decision and completion and chosen conclusion, it's like you don't have any other thing you can look at. You cannot see anything that doesn't match the conclusion you make. What else is possible here is one of the best questions ever.
What else is possible?
Yeah. And it's like I do that. I one time was looking for an apartment to rent in New York City, and I was going to go to this house to see this apartment, and it's like, and I kept passing the place and not seeing the number on the building. I kept passing. I go, what else is possible here? And finally, I saw that, but it's like I didn't ask the question I should have asked. What am I not seeing here that I should be looking at? Well, I went in and I thought the place was perfect. It was going to work out great. I loved it. It was great. Well, it turned out that the person I was renting the apartment from, I was paying half the rent, but I was only there like 2 weeks out of a month, any month. And I was gone for 2 to 3 months at the same time. I was paying half the rent, and it's like, and the person was using my room, was renting my room out, was doing whatever she wanted to do all the time, and she just left messes. It's like when I found her dirty underwear under my bed, I was a little horrified because it's like she was not supposed to be using my room, but she did. She just slept in my room when I was gone because it was the bigger bedroom. She was charging me more rent because she wanted to have less rent to pay. And, it's like, and when I moved out, she said I had broken her TV. I went, there's no way. I couldn't have broken your TV. I didn't even use the goddamn thing. So I went in and I turned it on, and it turned out that it was a cable problem. And I said, it's like the TV says there's no cable. And she said, oh, that's not true. I said, what do you mean it's not true? Well, I called the TV people, and they came out and looked at it, and they said it was your fault. I said, hey, I live in Santa Barbara where you can get things done fast. In New York, it takes you 3 weeks to get the friggin' TV people to come out and look at your TV. You did not get this done in 3 hours. Give me a break. I said, you get the people to write up a thing that my unplugging the TV is what caused that. I will pay you, but not until. And of course, she couldn't do that because that wasn't what had caused the problem. It was the fact that their cable was disconnected. Probably because she didn't pay it, but I didn't say that. But at any rate, it was just interesting to see how this works. And it's like, I went, wow, you really do have to ask the right questions. What's right about this I'm not getting? And I'm passing this place by. Shouldn't have been running the place. Stupid on my part. But it's fine. I did. I didn't. It's fine. It's sad. And those were all experiences of the past. But I don't look to my experience to determine my conclusion I look to my question to decide what the future can be. From a question, you can create a future. From a conclusion, you can only create the past.
And wow, this is such an aha moment, because I realized it myself. The moments where I expanded and my potential were the moments where I was asking questions. The moments where I was stuck and stagnating were the moments where I had come to a conclusion, right?
Yeah. That's what happens when you come to a conclusion. You stagnate because you cannot change anything, and no information can come into you once you made a conclusion. Anything that doesn't match what you've already decided cannot come to your awareness, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
Yeah.
There's one of your rules, I think it's a rule, the key number 9, where you say do not listen to, tell, or buy the story.
Yeah. Do not listen.
What does that particularly mean?
Well, it's like people tell you a story, but do they tell you all the facts, or do they tell you what makes their story good?
They usually just say the story.
Yeah, they tell you the story that makes it look good from their point of view. So I don't listen to the story, tell the story, or buy the story. Man, what's really going on here?
So basically, if someone's saying a story, say a person comes to you, Gary, and says, look, Gary, yesterday I went out to the bar. I hooked up with 7 chicks. I had the best food ever, and I made $1 million. It's coming to that with the awareness of maybe this guy is leaving some things out and just showing the best parts.
Yes,
our potential knowledge
makes the story sound better. Yeah, it's not about the truth. But see, the one thing I learned is the law of the universe is that if you say truth before you ask a question of somebody, they have to tell you the truth, or you get to know they're lying.
So you mean you say the truth and then you ask them a question?
You think truth, and you ask them a question, and they have.
Give an example.
Yeah, truth. Are you a virgin?
No.
See, you told the truth.
And so you just say, so it's basically that simple, just truth. And the question?
Yeah.
And then you notice that someone is untruthful or lying when there's a hesitation or
no, there will be no hesitation. People lie brilliantly. I can guarantee you people are lying if they open their mouths.
And so how do you distinguish the difference?
You just know. You get to know. The universe has got your back. It wants you to know what's true. It's like I noticed that, it's like I have had the experience many times of I'm going someplace and I turn at the wrong place. I did it in San Francisco. I turned at the wrong place and I went, oops, wrong thing. I wanted to go up to that off-ramp. But just as I turned, I saw that a refrigerator fell off the back of a truck on that on-ramp, and the traffic stopped, where I kept going to my destination.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Gary, such a pleasure. Such a pleasure.
To talk to you. Wonderful.
I want to leave you the space to share with the people anything that you're excited about.
Well, what I'm most excited right now is it's like I've had 30 some odd years of doing classes, and it's like, and I've been, working to create more consciousness in the world, and, we probably got, we got a bunch of more conscious people showing up, and I know that the unconscious is fighting us like crazy too, which is why there's so many insane points of view out there right now that we have to try and be aware of. And so I was interesting because I decided, what am I going to do to get more conscious on the planet right now? I went, what if I released all the classes I've ever done? Because I never have given these classes away. So I created a new app called Access Me, and you can buy something like 16,000 hours of classes for $275 a month. About any subject you want.
Wow, that sounds super interesting.
Yeah. So I'm doing that, and I'm going to release it to the general public. I'm not going to, it's like you don't have to have a prereq. You don't have to do anything. If you've got the nerve to listen to it, you got the ability to have it.
That's amazing. Gary, for everyone listening to this, if you didn't have a shift of point of view through this entire thing,
Yes.
then re-listen again, because there's so much value. We covered the clearing statement, we covered the 10 keys to complete freedom, and the clearing statement has been something I've done in the morning, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it freed up so much energy, and I was flowing in my work, and then it's
By
just
the way,
amazing.
I don't know whether it changed the way you look, but I don't think you're ugly. I think you're handsome.
Thank you, my friend. Nice point of view.
Yeah. And I could sell you to a couple girls I know if you want to be one.
When I come next to Texas, I'll hit you up.
Okay, good.
We'll have some fun time.
All right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. For everyone listening, thank you so much for your time. And Gary, it's been such a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Ari. You're wonderful.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.